What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's do this. So we're talking about the stock market. We're going to talk about, was today just a pullback? Is it the top? I know in the title I put, should you know both, or why you should know both. So we're going to talk about all that because we've been in a crazy just kind of channel up. And one of these times, the red candle will be followed by another red candle. And until then, you kind of, it's that saying, right? The trend is your friend. I didn't make that up, and you've certainly heard it a million times. We're going to start with the top because I am incredibly short the U.S. dollar. I just added on. Actually, I had a limit short. So right now, we're breaking this weekly zone. We kind of hung out here at the type 1, had a little bit of midpoint there, breaking down. This is still very much a weekly zone, and we still have, it's Tuesday? Oh my, it's only Tuesday. So we got a lot of time left in this week. A lot of times for things to get weird. There's a lot of candles, and a lot of 4-hour candles, a lot of hourly. There's a lot of these candles inside of a weekly candle. However, I am short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. My latest short was actually just below this wick, which right now is actually probably break even, give or take a couple pips. Now, I've been short. I added on down here because we were talking about just a bear flag. And then I had another add-on, just a limit short, which means I had a short order right here, which will open. It'll sell to open an add-on for me right below the wick, and I just got that alert a little bit ago. So hopefully this, what I'm hoping for is the Japan is now the world dominant currency. Then the U.S. dollar goes away. That's best case scenario for me. I didn't know my hair was looking that crazy. I look rough. Anyway. What I needed to do, we kind of did, this is a little 4-hour range we're in for a little bit. We peeked outside of it, came back in, and this zone, that's not a zone, by the way, sorry. These lines kind of irrelevant at this point. I just want to see if we had that break-up candle there, so I want to see if we break that, if that's going to be more of a support. Any thoughts on the jobs revisions tomorrow? No. Probably not going to be a market mover. I think our, what's today, the 20th, 21st, FOMC might be, that'll probably be, if anything's going to move, would be that. Jackson Hole's probably not going to be a thing. I know a lot of people are talking about this. It's something even I brought up. I don't think these are actually going to be bigger movers. If you watch this Sunday, the options chain, market makers, they're just not pricing in a big week at all. So if anything, we get some intraday chop. I think that's going to be about it. All right, Bitcoin hanging out still in this zone. Tried to get above, came right back down. Right now, we are still playing the back and forth game on Bitcoin. So, like I've said in the past few streams, bullish above this blue, bearish below this yellow. And we'll just keep it simple, right? Let's talk about it when that happens. S&P had a little bit of a pullback today. Finally. Because, and I'll tell you why, I grabbed puts on Nvidia and SPY today. And I even told my chat, too, I said, don't copy me because I just feel like losing money. But I did buy these puts, and I can tell you right now, this is the open right here. It was up here. Jumped up here, bought the puts. No, here's the one of these is the open. Should have been, I have to check now I got to check the thing, and those people are going to question it. Okay, I'm going through my chat. Yeah, you know what? Forget it. Anyway, bought puts. It went up, and I thought, how annoying. This market is just going to never sell off. Anyway, we finally did. Sold off and kind of stayed level. We ended up bouncing out of this zone, but I kind of think we tested again. I'm really hoping this is not just another base out like we've seen before. I wanted just a little bit deeper of a pullback. That wasn't a sell-off. It really wasn't, but neither were these. That's kind of like the best that we got. Anyway, I decided to keep both of them, so I'm still in the SPY puts and Nvidia puts. Dom says that was just a red candle to say we weren't green. That's annoying. That's kind of the market we're in. So is it going to be this way until election, or like what's going on? How many days out? This Friday, actually. To be honest, they were up when we dropped down and hit this zone, and had I actually been paying attention, it's not something I was babysitting, but had I done that, I might have even closed those realistically when we hit that zone, or at least trailed it, and it would have either way I would have tagged out. So right now the question is that are we going to actually get a leg down? Because, you know, we're starting to lose that momentum, and certainly kind of that arching look where if you're bullish, you're starting to question things. The importance of this is if we do have a pullback now, like an actual pullback, we can pull all the way back down here to this yellow zone. I don't know what catalyst or anything like that. I'm not saying we will. But the fact that we knocked out this previous high, didn't even question it like, double top, you know, whatever. We knocked it out. Now, when we do pull back, all the buyer's confidence is going to be there. Like, nah, we're going to buy this dip. We're not worried. Anything else would have been a lower high. This would have been horizontal. At this point, we're trending up, so now it's buy the dips and kind of hoping that that's just not all the dip we're going to get. Technician. Nope, bears are cooked. Yeah. I mean, hopefully you're not still bears. I took an L last week trying to catch this knife, and I'm doing it again. I better not. They're both up, but I better not be catching another knife. I'm gonna lose my mind. So right now I am still in them. As far as is this going to be something you see me talk about in tomorrow's video? Probably not. I just don't see a scenario, unless we were to just come out bright red like this. I just don't see a scenario where I'm still in them. I think tomorrow it gets managed. I gave it to this Friday just because I was thinking it was going to end up. In my head today, I thought it was going to be just a turnaround Tuesday. We'll end the day red, and I'll lock it in at the end of the day. But we kind of just had that bounce and went sideways, so I decided to keep them. If I'm going to day trade it, or I'm thinking there's a good chance I'm going to day trade it, it's this Friday's expiration. If I think I'm going to swing trade it, I'm typically at the money and 2 weeks out. I'm bearish, but most of my winning plays are not. Yeah, it's killing it. I thought we would gap up to this zone and then crash. We never really made it to the expected move. So, sucks, but we'll see. We didn't really do much today at all. As far as the NASDAQ goes, we pulled down to that zone. We played the back and forth game between these two zones. Everything I just said on the S&P stands for the NASDAQ as well. This one might even be more of the influencer, seeing how tech will just probably move a lot of that. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here. I would just be repeating myself. Anything else? A lot of people might be preparing for Nvidia's earnings. We'll have to talk about that. Nvidia going to 18. You mean 180? Did you miss a zero there? The Russell just pulled back to a type 2. As far as all three of them goes, the Russell looks like the better play. The Russell, that looks more like a dip, and you could that's a type 2 area. It's a zone play. You would just go long here and put your stop right below these wicks right here. Probably call it a day. So Nvidia to 180. Hopefully not yet at least. Like let's chill out on that. 118. Man, hopefully not 117. That's anyway. IWMZ, as far as all of them goes, looks the better for a long play, I guess. Nvidia selling off after hours. So I was joking and kind of sarcastically said if Nvidia pulls back to 117 this week, I would get a tattoo of Theta Gang. Suddenly everyone was in the Discord chat. So I don't think there's any chance, and hopefully it doesn't, because I'm not living that screenshot up. I'm not gonna lie, I really did today. I was like, man, where would I get that tattoo? It would be a funny video. I don't have a tattoo either. It'd be my first one, which would be even kind of funnier. But Nvidia's probably gonna struggle at that 124 mark. As far as blasting right through it, I don't know. And if it does, this 120 area, I think a lot of people are going to be eyeballing that for a dip. I'm not getting a forehead tattoo. Okay, as far as preparing for earnings, I hope we sell off into earnings. I really do. Right now I have enough Nvidia. And I've considered going out of the money calls and puts, just because I think Nvidia will probably, it just might be a mover in the options chain. If you look at options, they're expensive. They're not cheap. So going out of the money won't be cheap. It'll just be an expensive gamble, is all it's going to be. If they come out kind of good, I think the more the risk is to the downside. If you compare their year-over-year earnings, 4 earnings ago, it was easy. The bar was on the floor. Now they set that bar, and now they have to repeat it. And now there is a chance they come out and just beat the brakes off it again. And if they do that and surprise everybody, it's going wild. If they come out and just say, kind of everything's in line, I do worry more that would be a red reaction. And then, of course, can you guys even imagine the pandemonium that would take place if Nvidia came out with bad earnings, like missed their earnings and guided down? The market would crash. We would no longer care about the election, World War III, 4, or 5. The market would crash. So that's kind of why I think there's just I know it sounds weird, a couple chances that that Nvidia moves, which is why I don't know if I'll take the play, guys, but I'm just thinking out loud here. If there's something to take, I think it'll be buying calls and puts. Going at the money, I don't think would be worth it. So you'd have to go out of the money, both of them a little bit cheaper, and hope it doesn't just dud out. If I want Nvidia, would it be worth it to sell puts? Absolutely. So I've yet to make I have to make 2 TikToks or shorts, the updates on the on what we're doing with Nvidia and the growth count. Because I'm trying to tell everybody, I'm trying to make those videos so everyone can just kind of follow along. The week before we sold 2 calls. Right, sold a call, it sold off. We bought it back, jumped back up, we sold it. The next week we sold the 117s. It shot up. No, 113s. So we rolled it to the 117s. Only collected $70, I think, somewhere around there. Now we did that for the 30th, 2 weeks out, to take advantage, to move our strike up that much. We went to an earnings week, used that Vega as an opportunity to jump up the strike quite a bit. So after that, and I do see one of the questions here is talk about Nvidia. Give me one. Let me pull up the. There we go. I forgot where I was going with that. Technician, I thought you were asking about, you're just asking about the growth count in general. Let me finish up. As far as Nvidia goes, the reason why I went 2 weeks out was we used Vega to jump the strike up, not just from 113 to 114, but from 113 to 117. Still collect money on that, so we're still collecting rent. And then after that, I'm not moving, I'm not rolling it. We're going to keep it till after earnings. We're going to let Vega Crush do its thing, and then we're probably going to roll after that, assuming we still have to. FOMC minutes, any effect at all? If you're in futures, I would be prepared for it. And for everybody asking about FOMC, I would probably only worry about that if I was in futures. That's it. It's probably going to be choppy. As far as same-day expiration options, I would probably wait for a move down and take the opposite. Like if it spikes down, I'd take a call. If it shoots up, I would take a put. Intraday stuff, I would wait for the move to buy that as opposed to just being it before. Let's just buying calls and puts or selling puts. For the earnings play, I would be buying both. Probably just a couple calls and a couple puts. Both, we'll say $20 out of the money. We'll cross that bridge when we get there because it'd have to probably be the day of earnings that I do that. So I'll let you know in the chat. For earnings specifically. If you want the shares before, you would have to sell this Friday's expiration. And what I would do is probably still sell the 124s. And then if you don't get paid on Friday, let's say it's not at 124, doesn't actually pull back, close it, and then just buy the 100 shares if you want it before earnings. Or take advantage of the juiced up premium and then sell whatever strike you want for that. Technician's asking for a growth count breakdown for this week would be nice. So what are we in? We're in Intel. We got the Palantir. Intel pulled back. Palantir. We're in a Palantir call. And I've thought about selling a call against it, but I'm not. We're going to stick to the original plan. We bought the 28 strike call. And it's, first of all, we bought it. It popped up, sold it, popped back down, bought it again. Now we're back up. But we don't have 100 shares of Palantir yet. So we're going to take the premium from selling calls and buy more. So we're going to get there. But the reason why I'm keeping this, not just flipping it like, in and out this thing, is because I want some Palantir exposure for any S&P announcement coming in September. So that's going to stay put. That's right where it's at. The risk we have in that is negligible. It's nothing, right? So if it doesn't get included in the S&P, it'll just be like all the other times. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm really suspicious that Palantir's getting bought up because I think institutions are buying because they know someone knows something. That's my tinfoil hat. We'll see, time will tell, right? So I want to keep that. As far as Nvidia goes, we sold 2 weeks out, and so this whole week's going to be nothing for that because we're not going to do any options gymnastics or anything with that. There's so many things I want to buy. As far as Beto goes, so Beto that we have in the growth count, so we have 100 shares of that in there, and it almost matches the deposit. Remember the deposit, $150. Beto's 144, and that's a monthly dividend. But guys, I am this close to just doing 300 more shares on this and just doubling that income on there, and maybe we could sell some calls on it. Kind of run the wheel, but keep the shares, collect the dividend, and also sell some calls. Maybe just not the last week of the month. That's still maybe. What if we just did 2 calls a month that we sold on Beto? So we collected a monthly dividend plus 2 weeks worth of income on it. I haven't made that decision yet, but it might be coming. Don't want Bitcoin to tank. Yeah, no one does. But it sounds nice. Looking at so that's a Bitcoin futures ETF, but looking at Bitcoin, we're kind of hanging out and settling down. And that dividend, if it stays where it's at, that's the risk, right? Is everything looks fine and dandy until it's not, right? And what are the unknowns? What are the curveballs? Where do you get sucker punched at? Is really what the market's all about. But if we can keep that dividend where it's at. It's kind of like when we sell calls against our shares. Who cares about the share price? Yeah, it goes up, down, all around. You've all seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street. It's basically the same thing. What matters is how much we collect in rent each week. Assuming that's the income strategy. There's trading strategies and there's income strategies. Right now, we need that money coming in, so we need income. So at that point, we can collect some money, cross that bridge when we get there. But you do need to assume all that risk is going to happen when you're taking the play, which is why I haven't done anything yet. This week might just be a boring week. I almost bought Palantir today, so for anyone following the growth account, if you're on that Patreon, I wanted to see if we were going to break this zone. The one thing we're probably going to do is add to Palantir. I really want Palantir. I did buy some Tesla today in my main account. And Palantir and Tesla, I just need more of. I do own a lot. But I'm actually getting pretty bullish both. And honestly, I wanted to buy Tesla in the growth account, but I just think the funds right now would be better going to finishing up the next 100 shares, or the 100 shares of Palantir. We are, and by we, I just mean Technician, who's been following it pretty closely. We're about to hit that 10K mark, which is so starting from zero. Just remember, guys, the whole purpose of this growth account is to show everyone what I would do if I started from zero again. And again, because we started it over because everybody didn't pay attention until it was up over 100%. Shout out to everybody who didn't pay attention and asked me to start it over. And what's funny is people are doing it again. Does margin count? Does margin count for what? Oh, buying power? That doesn't count. No, we have what counts is the money. When we close that thing down right now, that's what counts. But So under a year, we hit the 10K mark. That's the next milestone. And I was trying to figure out what's the next milestone for the growth account. PDT, some people like to make that a big thing. Hitting the 25K mark, that's nothing. Nothing changes at 25K except for you can take 460 trades a day, which is awesome, but we've taken one day trade so far. Again, I like to make dollars, not pennies. Yeah, I think the next one's 100K because we go from 4 digits to 5 digits and then 6 digits. But I think I'm sure some of you guys will be pretty excited when we get to the 50K mark. But honestly, anytime your account gets to that, you get that 5 digits, that's a pretty big milestone, especially from someone who started from 0. But that's also why I'm saying the account's going to start moving. It's a lot slower in the beginning because you have enough to buy literally nothing. Like, here's your $150. Yay. What'd you buy? I bought 9 shares of Ford. Good thing it sold off. There's nothing. It takes a long time. But it's going to start rolling soon. And yeah, this because we went from making $20 a week to now $150 a week with Nvidia. Once we add that second contract of Palantir, things are going to start bumping pretty quickly. Maybe a TikTok growth account challenge. Maybe TikTok should have just followed on YouTube. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to do 500 challenges. It's not even a challenge. It's just what I would do growing from 0. Not to be mean, they can follow. It's not too late to follow. It'll be a lot harder to follow me once that's at 50K than it is at 9. All right. Coin. Ooh, Coin rejected that yellow zone. TikTok, give me 2 seconds. Let me break down a couple more, then I'm going to open it up to all the chats. All right, so Coin gapped up. Kind of what I hoped the S&P would do, right? Open up at the expected move and then sell off. So we got the gapping crap on Coin. The only thing that's a little concerning is, as far as technically speaking, that is a pretty decent bear flag. So depending on where you're usually selling puts, if anything, I'd be selling the 180 strike puts. But I would still be selling the 210 calls. I would still be outside of these zones. If it breaks that and you get assigned at 180, I would probably start instantly selling the 180 calls. So 7,800 a year put in, and we passed that 4 months ago. Oh yeah, 4 months left to go for the year. Yeah, and how do we word this? There's a couple ways to look at the percentage growth. Everyone says, "Oh, how much is the growth count up?" If you add in every deposit you add in, technically takes away from the percentage. The percentage growth is actually a lot higher. Right now, if you just look at total deposits plus how much we made, we're up like a little over 30%. If you were to just follow the plays and just add up the percentages, it'd be up a lot more. But this year is very slow. This is one of the slowest years I've had in a long time. Typically it's 100% a year. It's pretty normal. To only being up 30, we still got 4 months left. But that correction got annoying. Put a little dent in some things. But it is kind of funny to go from the stock market did a correction, and someone brought this up to me. There was a couple other YouTubers they were talking about. Said they went from green to red, but they're back to green again because they were holding. We went from green to less green, back to more green. 30% is still beating the S&P. Yeah, but I've never actually challenged. Like if I, I'm sorry for anybody that I know that's a lot for some, but can you imagine being a trader and the bar is the S&P? What? Again, and some of you guys are new. If I ever even thought I was going to compete with the S&P, I would just not trade. I would just buy the S&P, and that would be it. That'd be a whole lot less work. All right, I could literally beat the S&P just buying the S&P because I would just sell calls against the shares. 30% is rookie numbers in this racket. You got to bump those up. I know there's still 4 months left. We're gonna kick it into gear. Tom says I'm happy with 30%. I don't want to talk it down, but just saying in general, there's other super traders out there like, well, I bought the Nvidia 130 strike when it was at $12 and it paid out. Like the Instagram plays. Like, all right, do it again. You can scroll up and see all mine. What's your last 2 years your Instagram trades? You'll see a whole bunch of losers. Lori said I sold the 180 put today. Nice. So we're thinking the same thing. But I also have the 190 put from last week on Coin. Ooh, that's cutting it close. Ooh, man. I feel like I don't know what I would do on that one. Would I mind taking assignment at 190? On Coin, probably not. I don't think I would. I think I would if it dropped down. I got assigned shares 190, but because of this bear flag, if things are still looking rough, I guess what I would try to do is maybe sell the 191. I like to just make money on the premium and the shares a little bit. But if it does start to break down, then I'm selling right at where I got it. I like the 0.00001%. Banks are treating me well. This 160 wick, what a buy that was. Absolutely. There's a zone right here too, but I guess now that I said that I have to chart it out. All right, buyers showing up right there. And we dropped just past it. Yeah, let's just cover it just in case. If Coin were to break that, there's probably no knife worth catching until it gets down to the 120 mark. Nvidia start to sell off. I hope so because I'm in Nvidia puts. We got a little bit of some red action in extended hours. What's going on? Is the NASDAQ selling off? Not being led by the NASDAQ or vice versa. Oh, make it happen, Captain. Let's go. Hopefully it does. Now, I will say, I didn't say this earlier, if this does sell off into earnings, then I'm just buying calls. If we jack around and do nothing, then I'm going to buy a call and a put, I think. If we go screaming up into earnings, then I'll probably not buy puts, but I'll probably sell call spreads. So nothing naked, nothing against my shares, just flat out call spreads. So if it goes sideways, up a little bit, or down, I win. I like those odds. Can't wait to see the tattoo. If you had to get Theta Gang tattooed on you, where would you put it at? I have not sold calls on Beto yet. I don't want Bitcoin to go crazy while I have a sold call on Beto. So I would rather, and I'm being picky, I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to go nuts, Beto to shoot up, and then I'll sell calls. Whether that's one call a month, none, or all 4 weeks, or we double dip it like Cody and we sell 28 calls. Across your back in large block letters. What's up, Lisa? You're not on your pirate ship yet? Cody says, I will tattoo Theta Gang on me if my account is at 1 million by 2027. So I have to get the growth account to 1 million because surely that's the goal. Okay. 1 million, what year is it? 24? I think it's 3 years to get to 1 million. 2 years and 4 months because, sometimes math is hard. Oh, we're going to make that happen. It's a lot easier to make money. I do hate this, but it is why the rich get richer. Once the money starts coming in, And it's funny because, again, a lot of people don't follow the growth account when it's at the beginning stages because it's got $1,000 in it, like, oh, big deal. You're not making anything. 10% is $100, but once it gets going, it gets moving, and we'll be doing quite a bit more while keeping the risk all the same. That's what's annoying is you could be dead broke taking the same plays I take, but since my account is bigger, you make dollars and I make thousands of dollars off of clicking our thumbs a few times. It picks up, it ramps up fast. Anyway, we're all over the board tonight. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen stops. Nobody's worried about a stop. If you're on that smaller time frame, in theory, you probably wouldn't want to stop out until it breaks above this. We broke down, kind of had some buyers here. If you really wanted to tighten up, you could put it right here at 145.91. You're not on the smaller time frame? Let's get to a man's time frame then. I probably wouldn't worry unless it breaks this wick right here. 147.440. Oh, I haven't seen Scarlett in a while. Scarlett Games. She does the Pokemon cards. I found another YouTuber, by the way, that does stocks, and he opens up a Pokemon pack each time. He talks about GameStop, but he also opens up a Pokemon pack. Anyway, what's up, Scarlett? Do I think the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen tanking affected the markets today? No. Nope, totally different things. Oh, you're talking about stops in the green? I wouldn't put my stop in the green right now. If we get below this candle right here, then I'd put my stop in the green. And I probably will once we do get down here. This play that just entered that's currently a little bit red right now, I would probably move it probably about 50 pips away. Break this range, please. No kidding. Cody, I'm going to need you to step up your Forex game. You want to get that account to 1 million? I know just how we do it. How scared are you? What do you feel like doing? Do you think GME will ever pop again? Not. Probably not. What's his name? The kid. The GameStop boy. Man, I forgot his name. I even traded GameStop in this last little run up. Crocodile Dundee. Roaring Kitty, thank you. He already came back, and now he's kind of just did that whole thing going to Chewy. So I think if there is a comeback, it would if I was going to entertain the meme space for that, I would probably put my time and effort into Chewy instead. Love this question. HUD says, if you had $5K, what shares would you get for your investments right now? Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, and Palantir. Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, Palantir. That's 4. I feel like we can squeeze 5 in there. That's a lot of exposure to tech. So good luck on the tech green days. I know this. If you guys, my investment account basically is the NASDAQ. It's just weighted better because I don't have all the other 100 things. But I guess if you were to just follow my advice, just know that your account's going to be really green on NASDAQ green days and really red. Anything in the tech sector, they kind of all move together. So I was trying to think if you had that. Now, certainly, even if I had 5 tickers, let's say Microsoft, right? So we got you want 5. Oh, what would you do for your investments right now? 5K. Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, Palantir. Actually, I'd probably just keep those 4, I think. I would still do 1,500 in Meta. Palantir would only be 500. So there's 2K right there. 1,500 in Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, 500, and Palantir. Palantir's still technically on the I always forget this word every time. Not the risky side, speculation side. So you don't want to go all in on Palantir. Just buy 100 Palantir so you can roll an options contract. You could do that. You could almost have 2. He says all in. Palantir has great potential. It does. And don't get me wrong, absolutely love Palantir. But if you're talking about investment, you have to be real with yourself. If it's still on the speculation side, your allocation needs to reflect that. The cool thing about speculative stuff like that is you can spend less and still make the same. If it absolutely sends it, you only spent a few bucks, which really means you risked a few bucks, and then it sent it. Now, yeah, it's not as cool as the people that go all in and then having that stock send it. But again, what are the chances of you picking the stock that's going to send it? Obviously, I'm biased to myself, but what if I was wrong? What if I just love Palantir? You had more confidence in me than you did the company. You didn't even understand the company. You go all in on Palantir. Next thing you know, they stopped getting government contracts. Found out they commingling with TikTok, and it gets banned in the United States. And then it just goes to zero. You know, like that would just suck. So if it just doesn't have, like everything else I listed off, the test of time, everything is there. Those were giants. You're not knocking those down easy, not without a very good heads up. We can't all own Meta by the thousands. Come on. Well, you could if you listened to me when I told everyone to buy it at 90. Encourage your viewers to share the live and invite more friends. It says, fine, I'll do it myself. Did I miss a comment? Google, yes, Chewy. Hey, I got one more, then I'm going to turn it to the chats for just a little bit. Microsoft, I need 66 more shares to make 100. Skittish about the markets to go on margin in 28K. Let's check out Microsoft real quick. The time to go on margin was obviously right here at this bright yellow zone. Remember that one time I made this zone bright yellow? Why didn't you buy your 66 shares then? Or the higher low? Just kidding. If there's ever a conversation to be had about when should you use margin, probably when things correct. That's nothing I would ever tell anybody to do. It's like taking nitrous to your risk profile. Man, I would probably be a little bit skittish too. You bought 10 shares there. It's not bad. So, okay, the only thing and we've had this conversation before. If I'm going to go on margin, it's because I unlocked an income. I would not go on margin and buy 33 shares. I would only go on margin and get to 100 or not, and that's kind of where you're at. So what does it take your average price? What calls can you sell? You know, if you bought some down here and you added 66 right here, is your average for 413. If it starts to melt down, you could sell some 415 calls. You know, it wouldn't be ideal, but it's the few bucks you're gonna pay in margin is made up for on the calls that you sold. So you got that covered. That'll be an easy one to cover. It's just what does it open you up to if Microsoft melts down, which would just absolutely suck at that point. You'd end up being in management mode because you would either sell calls until the end of time, and just keep selling, kind of chase your way down, or maybe it's just too much. You stop out. Stopping out means you did take an L at the time, but it's Microsoft. You're probably not really taking a permanent L. It's probably more like a light pencil mark because you're just going to reallocate. You're just probably going to buy the dip later or jump back on later, if that makes sense. I use margin for selling puts, but I make sure I can cover if I had to. Never had a problem. Yeah, Monsoon I did. All right. Let's do a few more tickers real quick. It was Chewy, and let's do Google real quick. Google's already at the expected move already? We did that this week? Did I not did that change? Okay, so wow, it's already there. I don't know. Getting and holding above that zone, I think, was a good thing for Google. Right now, I would comfortably buy the dip on Google at this 163, 165 level. If it breaks that, and it breaks, so my stop would be 162.45. If it breaks that, that just might be a bear flag panning out. The question is, do we stop at this 159 mark? Do we drop all the way down to this next zone? So I would hopefully get a dip by tomorrow inside that zone and just take a zone play on it. Could I copy your screener, Gangy? I don't. What generation are you? I don't know what that means. Yes, I think. Just don't touch me in weird places. Tesla jumped up, hit that zone, sold off. Again, I bought some in my main account today. It is a little bit down after hours. I think above this gray zone, I'd be bullish. Okay, so I heard last time on the growth account you took out enough to buy your course. But what about taking out enough to start paying my bills? Didn't want to. Oh. Okay, that's right. So last time in the account, so this is the second time I did the account where I started from zero. Again, nobody was paying attention until it was up over 100%. Then everybody wanted to do it. But what I did was thinking, if I'm in your guys' shoes and I'm up, I'm going to take out the money, buy my course. There's lifetime memberships. That way there's nothing even monthly, no monthly Patreon or nothing. And then I'm good, right? And I've only ever played with casino money. We haven't done that this time. The problem with taking money out consistently is that when you look at the account, when you start from zero, you need to start building up the habits. And that's what I talked about in one of my shorts not too long ago. Defensive and offensive saving. Defensive is you quit drinking the Starbucks and you live like a zombie. You put some money in a savings account. That's defensive. Offensive is making your money work for you. The growth account does a little bit of everything. It's a good habit to just get into everything. So you want that constant just drip filling that bucket because then you're going to use that money to make more money. Now, if you imagine the faucet's turned on halfway and we got a couple inches of water in a 5-gallon bucket and you want to take a screwdriver and stab a hole in the bottom of that. We start pulling money out consistently, that's a hole. So it makes it a lot harder to really crank it. As far as pulling money out, that's like dipping a cup in at the top and getting a cup of water. Maybe we should. Man, I was gonna say we're about to hit the 10K mark. I'll say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go buy a new table saw, or something like that. I think I pulled out $1,500 last year. $1,500, yeah, it was to cover the course and everything. If I pulled that out now, gosh, it sets us back. I want to hit the 10K mark in the next week or two. I want to hit it this month. That'd be nice. We got to make $700 in the next month. AMD rejected. Hang on, I saw this in the chat. I'm not ADDing it up. Atticus did say that's exactly what I did. Oh, you took the money out to buy the course? Keep your money in the account as long as possible. Keep it working for you. Yeah. Don't do it. I was just asking. Sorry. Steve, I promise we're going to get to AMD. There's a very important thing to go over, though, and that actually is paying yourself. Because whether you followed my plays or did your own, you clicked your thumbs, right? You probably don't have arthritis in your thumbs. You're probably doing all right. But you clicked your thumbs, and magic money appeared in your account. That's essentially what trading is. Poof, you're richer now. It's still, all that is numbers on a screen until you do pull it out. So it is important to buy yourself something. It does set you back. But when you go from a way of saving and depositing money in there, you start looking at things in a different light of, I could take this money out right now and go have a heyday. Yeah, I could do this. But instead of looking at it as how much money you have, you start looking at things as like, man, that's going to set us back 3 weeks. Like, that's going to suck. Yeah, but you have a new saw. What I like to do is, learn a new skill. I just bought a welder, a table, I bought the whole get up. I got the hat, the gloves, the apron, the jacket. And now my goal is to learn how to weld and maybe take on some projects. Nothing structural, maybe some barbecue grills or some lawnmowers, but make that money back. And then there you can put that back, do a self goal like that. I bought a drone a while back, but I had to get the cool one. It was $4,000. So I started doing, pictures for my real estate team. I started doing drone stuff. And once I had that thing paid off, I was like, this is great. So it's cool to do stuff like that. I would try to do something like that. They say memories last forever, but when you take that money out and go out on a date and you eat food and then it's gone the next day, that sucks. All right. Anyway, let's do a few more tickers. AMD. I don't know what's going on. Why this and Nvidia selling off? If someone is saying something about chips somewhere. Right now it's a rejection. That got outside the expected move and kind of just reined it back in. So far as market makers are concerned, they don't have to do any work this week. For now. Hopefully it continues to pull back. If I was looking to add on, get in, or do anything with AMD, it'd be around the 150 mark right now. I only take money out to pay for Hitman. He coaches a baseball team, so he's looking for new batters. Please stop trying to get me demonetized and canceled. Good thing I never went on a date with Don. I'm just saying, like, I'm a robot. Like, could have had ramen. We could have stayed home and just enjoyed each other's company. Why did it need to be a $3,000 date? It was SMCI. I thought I saw SMCI. SMCI basing out. I would be long this one, but my stop would be 593.45. Speaking of expensive things, Lori, weren't you talking about, was a $3,000 bottle of wine from Costco or something crazy? Like, I don't know. Consumables like that, I just don't like to spend money on consumables. I do, don't get me wrong, but the one thing I do with this growth count is really put myself in a position where I was, because I was sleeping in my car. I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I started pulling money out a long time ago. I did let it grow for a little bit, and then I used those profits to start paying my bills once they were consistent. But it needs to get to a spot where, because you got to pay for your bills, you got to pay for taxes, you got to build all that in, you have to make that, and then you need to exceed that. So it used to be like I would do that, and then extra money I would go have fun with. But it really puts a damper on things when you take money out, and I don't think people, especially the younger generation, and I'm 36. When I say younger generation, I'm talking me, especially even lower. I'm on TikTok. These guys call out penny stocks and a lot of just, I think, stuff young people do. The old saying, a penny saved is a dollar earned. I mean, every penny you throw at this thing turns into a dollar. It just takes time. So it's just pulling the seeds out. Every dollar you pull out sucks. You should learn to fly planes and buy a small plane. I'm looking at it. First of all, I looked into helicopter pilots. That's why I know things about helicopters. I was reading about that, but to be a helicopter pilot, you got to know a lot. You got to be able to have a conversation with the other pilot. You have to be fluent with it. So I want to make sure I do that first. Plus, I'm not a fan of the way they just shut the engine off, and you got to land that thing. The cool thing about helicopters is that is your parachute. The prop is still spinning, so you got to angle it down, pull it up at the end, and during practice and in school, you You got to do it like 1,000 times. Like, I'm fine with leaving the engine on. Can we just, I'll worry about that when it happens. Planes are a lot easier to learn how to fly, is what everyone says. Helicopters want to crash. Airplanes want to fly. See, I'd feel much better in a helicopter. That wing flips off of that airplane. You're going down like a lawn dart. I lose power on the helicopter. I still got a giant spinning propeller on the top, just losing power. But I'm gonna live that one. Most people survive helicopter crashes. Ultralight doesn't require a license, but you can only fly in private land. No, I don't know why I'm so ADD right now. I'm looking at a plane. It's like the Cadillac of planes. It has a parachute. The whole plane has a parachute. I think that's cool because if I crash the plane, I'm not worried about living. I want my plane. So I want that thing to land safely. Okay. Let's see. Hey, some of us old farts are on TikTok too. I'm trying to find the older crowd on TikTok. No offense to anybody that's younger, but so far it's just full of trolls and low IQ. There's a few. I gotta say there's a few that have really surprised me, and I hate to just single out the younger generation like that too, or just speak for the masses. But it really does surprise me when someone's like, "Oh, I'm 19, and then I want to be." All I hear is, "I'm 19 and I want to be rich." Because what 19-year-old is worried about investing or trading and taking it seriously? They're worried about penny stocks, crypto, and their drip. You know, like that. Nothing. No one's taking it seriously. So when I find a 19, 20-year-old that's taking it seriously, I get so jealous. I'm like, man, I wish I would have done that. Target earnings. It's tomorrow. Ooh, I don't know, because I'm actually very curious to see what retail does. Has anyone else? I haven't been paying attention. Has anyone else talked about Walmart earnings was good? Nike, I don't think had theirs. Theirs is way back. What are some other ones? What are some other retail ones? Rick says I'm 42. What indicator is that? It's mine. Just 11 years of experience in drawing. Home Depot. There we go. Earnings is all right. I'm kind of hoping they fall in line with everything else. I guess that was Walmart's earnings. And some might call it a sympathy play, but no one's crying. Okay? It's a sector play. I don't know if it's worth the gamble. So earnings are always a coin toss. It's a literal gamble, right? It's a binary event. There's going to be an announcement. It's going to go up or down. Okay, whether they miss, whether they make it, miss it, guide it up, guide it down. I've seen every variation of they guided up and the stock sold off. They missed and the stock shot up. Seen it all. It's just a binary event. What I like to look out for is like manipulate. What I think might be manipulation, like it sold off going into earnings. Like who's trying to lie to me here, you know? But this being right in the middle of two zones and earnings are tomorrow, I just don't know. Lori says it's never too late to start trading. I was 65 when I first learned how. It is never too late. Actually, yeah, to the, can I say older generation? Older and younger. A lot of the older crowd I've seen, and it's warranted too, right? That's their retirement. They got to watch every dollar. They can't just go jacking around and then hear that YouTuber say, "Oh, sorry." Sorry doesn't bring back retirement. That takes some brains. I feel like middle-aged people my age, it's easy. Like, we're investing, we're talking about, we're trading, might be gambling, might be taking it serious. Younger crowd, I wish I would have, oh man, I wish I would have never been homeless if I started when I was 18. Also, I probably wouldn't be on YouTube because I probably wouldn't care, not gonna lie. Target. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth the risk. What is older? Older than me. If you're older than 36, you're older. If you're younger than 36, you're younger. Lowe's did good. Lowe's. Oh, it's literally just low, isn't it? Okay. Sorry, guys. There's only 6,000 tickers, and I only know 5,000. What was their earnings? Oh, bounced around today. Just played the back and forth game. I'm 51, hoping to retire at 59. Is it technically retiring if you're just going to... I'm going to trade forever until AI kicks me off the markets. Is it still technically retired? I'm definitely in my midlife crisis era. You know what you should do? I'm speaking from experience. Go out and buy 3 Corvettes. I know a lot of guys like to buy a Corvette, but that's like 1980s. It's 2024 now. 3. Let's see. Okay, guys, let me do a couple more because I'm surprised anybody's still watching, to be honest. Zero structure, just kind of all over the board. Half exhausted. I do blame Celsius. So I drank a big Celsius today. Like the monster size cans. Like, because I usually drink monsters. Anyway, man, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed midday. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do so many things. And then now I am just like, just try not to sound like you're having a stroke on the stream. Costco. I would watch out. Costco, I think, is good. If I was taking it as a trade, I would just be long this. 860, 385 would be my stop loss. 3 vets. Why didn't you want a Lambo? Went out and drove one, and kind of second guessing it. But the reason why I bought one Corvette because they were coming out, right? So I actually ordered a 2020 C8 Corvette first. It was blue. But then I was streaming one night, and you guys were here. Again jacking around, and Carvana. We were looking at the Carvana website, and they had a C7 Corvette on there, and it said 12,000 miles. It was priced like a 12,000 mile Corvette, but the picture on the odometer said 1,200. So I bought it right then and there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Now I got a blue C7 and a blue C8, and I was thinking about getting an old Stingray so I could just have all the Stingray models. Anyway, production was hard, so I was still waiting on my other blue one, and then I was getting my oil changed on my F-150 at the Ford dealership, and they were funneling the cars through the Ford dealership because I guess Chevy couldn't sell them above sticker. So when I saw the orange C8, the one that you guys, it was the only car I think I've ever had make it to a YouTube video. Well, it was just there when I was getting my oil changed. And I thought it'd be funny to buy it with the Robinhood card. So I didn't actually just make a plan to buy 3 Corvettes. They kind of just happened. Because then later the blue one finally came in. But then I sold them all to buy real estate. I am getting a Cybertruck. It's official. I am getting a Cybertruck, and I'm going to polish it. You guys need to Google that right now. Taking a polishing wheel to a stainless steel Cybertruck. I'm going to look like a diamond going down the road when the sun's up. It's going to be amazing. Why, Don? Because it's amazing. I'm going to drive the Space Wedge, but it's going to be a shiny Space Wedge. I have a 2019 CR1. No, nice. Hood. Ooh, man. There's so much I want to buy in the growth count right now. I don't think I could take a dime out. because I just want to buy. I would buy hood right now at 19, which means I would sell the 19 puts. I do like hood, and I think getting above this zone was my bullish signal. Holding below that, I'm thinking, man, that could be a lower high and a bear flag. So getting above that, I'm waiting for the red candle to buy the dip now. Any thoughts on the NAR settlement? You can't just be dropping bombs on me like that. Because I have my real estate license, they like to. Have you guys ever been a real estate agent? They fine you for literally everything. I do have thoughts on the NAR. They're like a mafia, and they pay a lot of money. There's a lot of underhanded deals that happen. I don't know. I could probably do a whole video just about that. My thoughts on real estate in general. It's going to be an app soon. And I know everyone thinks that won't happen, but also everyone told you not to get in a car with a stranger. Don't mean to people online. And now it's literally all anyone does. So just like Uber, it's going to end up being something where you just got to do your license and background check and all that. So real estate agents will literally only be helping out felons and people that couldn't check the background. And that's it. I'd give it a few years and that's it. Real estate agents hate when I say that too, because I am one. But okay, I'll make a video for you. Let me get a better response to the NAR, because there's a lot to unpack, and I want to make sure I don't say something dumb that goes against my license or anything. Niche says, I got shares and some end-of-week calls. I'm leaning towards dropping my calls for a small loss. I don't know. What's your expiration date? Not your expiration. Your strike. This has to be it, because I'm losing my mind. Well, yeah, what's your strike? We know it's this Friday. In the money, out of the money? If it's out of the money, I don't think it's coming back. Like if you're about to tell me a 21 or higher, the bounce that's going to have to hit that and go. You have the 20. Of course, you're just right there at the money. You know what? If you're indecisive, you could turn it into a spread. You could sell the 21s. 22s probably won't pay anything. You could sell the 21s. If it sends it, you'll have $100 per one. If it doesn't, you made it a little bit cheaper. That might just be just options gymnastics, because mentally you don't want to just take the L. A lot of times it's better to just take the small L. But if you're thinking, man, maybe we got tomorrow, we jack around all that, you still have, once you do that, you're almost theta and vega neutral. So you could hold that for a couple days. Maybe there's a Friday pop or something, or Thursday, and you sell the 21s, buy it back a little bit cheaper. Wall Street Bets crew is starting to pile into Redfin. I have seen some people talk about that. Why is everyone worried? Sorry, YouTube. I don't know why there's a million commercials on tonight's stream. We did go over Target. All right, guys. I have to end it. I don't know. I'm so ADD. I'm surprised most of you guys are even still here. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We're at the hour mark. You guys will see me tomorrow. Anyway, have a good one. Make sure you follow. Do all the cool stuff, guys. I just need that. We're here because this is fun. People usually absolutely hate this when I'm just ADD and all over the place. Anyway, I'll see you guys.